Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So we have to talk about Kevin Durant and Boogie Cousins getting into it on today. And I want to stress the importance of making sure you don't just take a headline or the way that something is framed without either listening to the video or looking at the tweet or wherever the sources come from. You want to look at what is being said in its proper context. Now, NBA Central came out, with a tweet, and it said the Phoenix Suns reportedly had multiple fist fights in the locker room this past season, per Boogie Cousins, and they got that off Run It Back TV, the show with him, Michelle Beadle, Chandler Parsons, and Lou Williams. And so KD, I know he didn't see the video. I'm gonna play the video at the end of this so you can see the context in which it was said in. But KD clapped back. He said, "I have to contest this 94-footer. This is some BS to throw on us. Yeah, we were trash this year. Ha ha ha. But we never got close to this. Never." And so KD is pretty much saying it didn't happen. Boogie Cousins claps back. He says, "The source was one of your teammates, killer. And I wasn't referring to you. Save the ish for some others, homie." Pretty much saying, don't come for me. I heard it from someone who was in the locker room, another player on your own team. And we have no reason not to believe that Boogie Cousins was tipped off by a Phoenix Suns player, right? So then, you continue to read the thread. KD comes back. He says, whoa, Boog. I don't want no problems with you or anybody on earth. I promise all I'm saying is your source is lying. And many were saying, okay, KD, why you acting like that? When Michael Rappaport was talking crazy online, or when he said something like that, you want to know where he was. But with it being Boogie Cousins, you making it clear you don't want no problems, and you clarifying it in a way that's not aggressive, which, I don't want to see two brothers getting it over this, but it is interesting. Now I want to play what Boogie Cousins actually said and how he said it in this proper context. Let's check it out.
People get mad at Kevin Durant when he went to the Warriors. I am not one of them, by the way. But if he were to go to Minnesota, that's obviously, they just were in the Western Conference Finals. That feels more chasing versus the three teams that he has said, like, I'd be cool with Houston, San Antonio, or Miami. He goes to any one of those. I don't know if you have a preference that you would love to see KD in. Does that team automatically become a contender? Like, what does it do to any one of these three teams if they have KD?
This is Kevin Durant. Like, let's not sit here and act like it isn't. I mean, Phoenix was a bad situation from jump. They put a team together based off names. It was never a complete, team. It was never a team that made sense. You just put a bunch of scores together and then threw some other names on it and said, go win a championship. That's not how the game of basketball works. And I hate that, a straight player has received the type of, negativity around his name when it comes to this Phoenix situation. Like I said, it was never meant for success. So even through all the chaos that happened in Phoenix, and it was a lot of things that happened. It was a lot of things that haven't been reported. I don't want to be the guy to report it, but I've definitely heard of some of the, negative things in the locker room. It was a couple of fist fights. There was a lot going on that obviously carries over into the court. So, for him to be the, the so-called blame of the negative seasons they've had, I think it's completely unfair.
Hold on. Boogie, are you saying there were fist fights in the Suns locker room amongst the Suns?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. So with that being said,
that's normal though.
Is it?
Yeah, that's
boys
normal.
Are so weird.
It gets magnified when you lose.
Is it normal? Is it normal in today's game or is it normal in our era?
Yeah. Good follow-up.
In today's game,
Boogie,
you have to be super friendly.
I'm trying to help you, Boogie. I'm trying to help you, Boogie.
Why is that?
You said you didn't want to be the person to break the news, so I was trying to take the cut.
I mean, I'm not going to go into the details of who was fighting. I'm not going to go into the details.
Can I guess, and will you give me a nod? If I start guessing, okay.
This is more so about Kevin Durant still being an extremely impactful player.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy that was extremely efficient. He averaged around 27, 28 points a game. Like, this is Kevin Durant. So anywhere he goes, he's going to improve the team. So my thing is, I don't want this narrative of him being at fault of the, the lack of success in Phoenix. I just think it's completely unfair. So I think anywhere he goes moving forward, it will be an improvement on the team. Obviously, it's going to matter with the pieces they put around him, because wherever he goes, they're going to have to give a huge haul back. So you're going to have to fill in those pieces around him. You're going to have to make it, and it's going to have to be complementary pieces, not just names. Like, we have to get away with that. And the reason I say that is because the two teams are in the finals. It's not about names. It's about team. It's about camaraderie. It's about enjoying playing with the guys next to you. That's where the league is now. That's how you find success in this league in this current stage. So I think that's what's important. And, like I said, wherever he goes, he will change that team for the better.
So Boogie Cousins is speaking more so to the overall culture around the Phoenix Suns when he was talking about the fights in the locker room. Now, that's a slippery slope because you have fights in the locker room on winning teams and it shows you actually care, but you could also have fights where it's just bad culture and mismanagement of players. So you have to know your personnel and the character of the player and how they respond to such an altercation is important too. If they're not taking it personal and it just had to be worked out because we're all working towards a common goal, that could sometimes fuse these players and make them closer to each other. But in the case of the Phoenix Suns, we saw that that was not the case and that there was no establishment of any pecking order really on that team as far as who's going to be the leader or whatever, or did they even have one? We had all these questions, and from the jump, I thought it was a bad idea to basically send all your money into 3 scorers who need the basketball, and none of them really from different places, right? They're all wings that, score the ball. Maybe you could have got away with KD and Booker, but I think that would have looked better during the Chris Paul era. And maybe if KD was out there right after he left Golden State, maybe him instead of Mikal Bridges during that time, then the team might have been okay, going forward with that. But if you just put them on the floor and you got Devin Booker handling some of the ball handling duties and stuff, his role has constantly changed with that team over the years. I remember they wanted him to be the 1, then the 2, then the 1, then the 2. And so you never really have any continuous continuity with your longest tenured player as far as his role. And when I look at KD and Budenholzer, they had issues, throughout the year that we saw play out on the sideline. So I don't think there's any arguing that the situation wasn't right. Now, KD, I know Boogie said they're going to get an overhaul for KD. Now, I heard they were, Houston had offered Jalen Green and the 10th pick in this draft, which you're starting to see the offers diminish for KD. Like, I don't think you're going to get what you would have got for KD when he left Brooklyn. Now, you're not getting that. 36, few more injuries that happened since that time, and he had the big one with Golden State, and we see that he's just not as impactful as the guy. So you're going to have some things in place. Now, Phoenix, for Jalen Green, that makes so much sense because the team is in place, everything around it. Fred VanVleet could be a leader on that team. You got some veteran guys who can be the voice of the locker room. Any team like that already has everything in place, you bring KD in and all he need to do is hoop and sometimes, get you buckets late, lead with his play somewhat. What we're seeing, is KD is a lot like Kawhi in the sense that you need a team leader for them to be at their very best. He's not like Kawhi in the sense that he's alpha dogged, a title in a way where it wasn't on a super team with Steph and them. But they are very similar in a way that they can't be the voice, that commanding voice in your locker room. So any team that looks to get KD, I know Miami's talking about it. Is it going to be Bam? Is it going to be Khalil Ware? Is what people's asking. I think Khalil Ware probably is the more intriguing piece for maybe his upside. But, Bam can help you win a lot of basketball games right now, too. So any deal with those guys would be attached to Phoenix. And KD going to Miami, I don't know. I don't know if that makes much sense after the Jimmy Butler era. That would have made sense during the Jimmy Butler era, but to think they could get it done with KD now, I'm just not buying into that as well. So KD is not what he used to be as far as his value as a player, but we're going to see, man, how this thing plays out. I think it's going to play out very soon. I think with this draft coming, I think we about to see so much movement. When we saw Luka get moved, it showed that nobody was really off limits right now. There's not too many players off limits. Let me put it like that. Wemby obviously ain't going nowhere. Somebody like that. And speaking of Wemby, there's the other situation that they said KD could go to. Now, what do you do? The Spurs have a lot that I'm looking at. You still take Dylan Harper, and if you take Dylan Harper, you got him and Castle. You see, I wouldn't want to part ways with Castle. Dylan Harper, Castle could be your future. Fox had another injury this year. Fox, I don't know, man. I would love to have Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, though, personally. And I know they got Fox, but I wouldn't want to trade that Harper pick. I'm kind of high on his upside. I'm high on Castle's upside. You probably could trade like Keldon Johnson and some others, but I know they're going to want one of them guards in return. And Fox would be perfect for Phoenix right now, just for what they need. They need a lead guard like that, and Booker can score off him. Obviously both players went to Kentucky at different times, but they both went to Kentucky. And, so that would be dope for them. But, KD, Wemby, instantly then, I think, I don't know, man. I don't know. And you can still draft Dylan Harper and bring him off the bench right away, right? You ain't got to start him day one, so you can keep all three. I don't know. But do we want KD at this point? Do the Knicks even want KD at this point? Because you missed your opportunity when you elected to go to Brooklyn. That's kind of how the Knicks organization is looking at it. So, yeah, man, I just kind of wanted to talk about this. And Boogie was showing KD a little love in that. He was just saying that the culture was all messed up with the Suns. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.